Hey there, Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is the kickoff of my September stamp set of the month series. Each month I feature a different stamp set that I love because it's versatile, it has dies that go with it, and this month's set is no exception, and it also has some specialty paper that goes with it as well. I am talking about the Fringe Frenzy kit from Concord 9th. Now this came out a few months ago. I had it, I've played with it a little bit, and I love it. It's super versatile. It has, like I said, a stamp set and a die set. The die set creates fringe, and the other dies in the set allow you to make creative things with that fringe with the specialty paper that comes with it. That's like a thin, lightweight paper, thinner than cardstock, thicker than printer paper, and pretty colors. So it's gonna be super fun. And in this month's series, I'm going to be creating a card and something to go with it. So that's why this video is a little bit longer, because I'm actually creating two things. So I'm gonna show you today how to use the Fringe Frenzy kit and how to use the stamps without the fringe if you want to. Okay, so if you comment on this video, you are entered to win the card that I make in today's video. And that means it's time for me to announce the winner of last week's card. So if you commented on last week's video, you were entered to win this card right here. It's a 5x7 card. It's very fall looking, super pretty. So if you commented, your name was entered, I drew out a winner, and that winner will appear across the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching and commenting and subscribing. It means so much to me. And now I want to show you the Fringe Frenzy kit. All right, this is the Fringe Frenzy kit. Here is the 16-piece stamp set, and you also get a roll of 1/4 of an inch double stick tape. You get 5 colors of thin or lightweight paper. You get 3 of each color, and you also get the die set in the kit. And this die on the left is the one that cuts the fringe, and then all these other pieces are fun elements that coordinate with the fringed pieces as well as the stamp set. You can also get this lightweight paper pack as an add-on to this kit that has 5 additional colors. It also comes with the 5 colors that come in the kit, so you have plenty of paper to fringe all the things. Here is a guide that shows you how to fringe shapes, how to fringe paper and die cut the shapes, how to make peek-throughs and backgrounds and other things you can use. And it's also got a ruler on the side that helps you align your fringe. I'm going to be using these 3 colors here. The pink and the white are from the kit, and the red is from the add-on pack. I'm going to lay the die onto the edge of my 6x6 piece of lightweight paper, run that through my die cut machine, and you can see the die is a little bit longer than the 6-inch paper, so it fringes it all the way across. So now I have a 6-inch piece of fringe, and it is perfect. All right, so I've die cut the 3 pieces and set those aside, and now I'm going to work on the main focal element of my card. I'm laying all the things out so I can see where I want to die cut that rectangular piece. Once I have that in place, I can tape the die down, remove the stamps, and run this through my die cut machine. That way I have the window die cut exactly where I need it. After that, I'm going to use my Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink to stamp the cake plate at the bottom of the rectangle and the candles at the top. And then I have a leftover rectangular piece from die cutting that, and that's the piece I'm going to use to attach my fringe. Now this is the most important thing to learn in this video, and that is to apply your double stick tape so that it is covering half of the fringe. You can see my double stick tape is not at the very top where the paper is not fringed, but it's partway on the fringe and partway off the fringe. This is important because if you're going to die cut your fringed pieces, your fringe could break off or fall off in certain places. So just make sure that you're doing that, and if you have a little fringe that comes off, you can easily tack it down with glue, but if your adhesive is halfway on, halfway off, you shouldn't have a problem. Now you can see I'm using the alignment guide or the spacing guide on the edge of this insert that comes with the kit so that I can easily space my fringe so that it's even and tidy, and it takes kind of that guessing game out of it for you. Once I have all the fringe in place, I'm going to trim off the excess from the back. I like to pre-cut my fringe down so any excess pieces don't have that backing removed from the tape and I can use them again for something else. But then I just need to trim up my edges once I get everything aligned. Then I'm just going to ruffle up this fringe, and I'll do that a few times throughout my card making once I get things in place, and that just gives it that fun festive look. But if you want it neat and tidy and straight, you could leave it like that too. All right, so this is going to go behind my opening just like that. Before I attach everything to the card, I'm bringing in my Copic markers R35 and RV14 to color in the candles. And that is why I use the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink to stamp with, because it is a Copic friendly ink. And then for the base of the cake and the candles, I'm bringing in two other colors, Y00 for the candles and B00 for the cake stand. I'm not doing any Copic blending, just filling in these small areas with color, except for one little spot where the cake plate meets the stand. I'm bringing in B02 for a little bit of a shadow. And then I'm going to bring in another Concord 9th stamp set, the Sprinkles Turnabout. I'm going to take the Sprinkles background element or stamp from that set and place it stamp side down on the alignment guide to line up my stamp with the printed image. Once that is completely aligned, I'm going to take that to my stamp positioning tool where I already have my jig in the tool ready to go. I'm going to line up the X on the alignment guide with the X on the jig. And once that's in place, I pick up the stamp with my MISTI and remove that alignment guide. I am going to use some temporary adhesive to hold my card shut and attach it to my jig because I am stamping directly on my card base. I'm only using two colors of ink to create this background. That is whipped cream ink. I am going to stamp it 2 times just to intensify that and make it more crisp. And then I'm going to do another turn with the white ink. So turn number 1 and turn number 2 have been stamped with the whipped cream ink. And then I'm going to switch to a red color. Now when stamping on red paper, I've noticed a lot of times if you use the same color ink as your paper, the red can get lost a little bit. So I'm coming in with a little bit darker shade. This is Velvet Ink by Altenew. And I'm going to ink that up and stamp it down for turn number 3 and turn number 4. And I will double stamp it just to, again, intensify that color. And that's my background. There is a confetti stamp in the Fringe Frenzy kit that you could use in place of this if you don't have it. I just liked the fun sprinkles because I'm using a cake on the front of my card. So that's why I went with that. Now I'm using an adhesive eraser to remove that temporary adhesive from the back of my card, and then I'm going to go ahead and put these elements together. What I'm doing here is tracing the opening of my front panel so I know exactly where to glue on this fringed piece. Once that's in place, I'm going to bring back that window piece and cover the back of it with foam tape. That way it's going to be popped up over the top of this fringed element. So I'll put that foam tape on and peel off the backing, and then I can just line that up and place it down right over the fringed element. And that is just cute. I love the fringe set back a little bit. It looks great. I'm bringing in my Stardust Jelly Roll pen to color in those white candles. I just wanted to add a little bit of sparkle, and then I am going to put just an accent line on each of the candles so it has a bit of sparkle to it. And then I will bring in a sentiment from the stamp set that says, "It's your day," stamping that with Coralberry ink from Altenew below the cake. And to accent this, I'm bringing in Red Hots from Honeybee. Now they're not actual Red Hots like you eat, but they look pretty darn close. They are so cute. And this red, like the red paper that I'm using, is a little bit of a coral color. So I thought they went really well together. Everything that I've used in these projects today will be listed and linked for you below. So if you're interested, you can check that out. All right, let's move on to the coordinating project. I'm using this frame on a stand from IKEA. It's the Tollsby. This is really inexpensive, like $1. Anytime I'm at IKEA, I always buy a few of these because they're so fun to craft with. I have already made a few of these and have them around my house, and I thought this one would be really fun to set out on someone's birthday or give it to them on their birthday, so they could set it out on their birthday. So you'll see the pieces here. It's got 2 window sheets. And here's one I already made before, but you can see the decorative paper is sandwiched between the 2 window sheets, and the decorative elements are on the actual window sheet. So to make a background for this, I'm using a 6x6 piece of paper, and I'm going to stamp the same exact background as I did for my card. The reason I'm using a 6x6 piece of paper is that the background for the frame needs to be 4 by 6 inches. So it's easier just to start out with a 6x6 piece of paper and use that as the turnabout. I don't need the jig when I'm using it in this way. So now I'm also stamping the back of the paper because the frame is two-sided. You can see the background from both sides. So I'm just repeating the same exact thing on the back of this 6x6 piece. And once it's stamped and dried with a heat tool, I'm going to cut it down so it is 4 by 6 inches. And now it's going to fit perfectly into my frame and have that cute sprinkle background on both sides. We're going to set that aside and remove the little plastic coating from the front and the back of one of the window sheets, and we'll start making the decorative elements for that. I'm going to cut some more fringe pieces, 2 of each color, and then put that adhesive on so that it's partway on the fringe and partway off. That's the super important step you don't want to forget. And then I'm going to use this alignment guide to align these the same way I did for my cake, but this time I'm actually going to die cut something from my fringed piece. It is recommended that you use something like printer paper, a lightweight paper, when die cutting a fringed piece, because you're die cutting through the lightweight fringe paper, the copy paper, and then also the adhesive. So it's going to work better and cut better if you have thin paper. So my word yay is all die cut. I love that this die set comes with this word. You could use it for so many things. Now I'm going to stamp and die cut the It's Your Day with Coralberry ink again, and the die from the die set that makes this nice banner, and that's going to go over the top of my word yay. Now I'm going to stamp some elements for my frames, and you can see how I'm going to use the cake without the fringe. There's a perfect stamp to make a cute cake, and that same rectangle can also be stamped and turned into a gift bag. So I'm going to do both, stamping again with the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink, and I will be coloring these with Copic markers as I did before. And here I'm using the acrylic block as an alignment aid by using the grids on that block to line up these scallops that are making the frosting on my cake. And next I will stamp the candles on the top of the cake. And to decorate my bag, I decided to bring in this super duper long image from the stamp set. Like, my acrylic block was too small for it. It's so long. And I just let it hang off the edge just a tiny bit. And then I got smart and decided I would bring in a piece of paper to mask off the bottom of it. And I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner, so I have 2 hanging down there, but I'll cut those off when I cut out the stamped image. I'm using the same colored markers to color this cake as I did for the card. I'll be using them to color in the cake. Again, I'm not doing ink blending, I'm just coloring it in. I tried using the chisel tip of my marker. That was okay. They get neglected. I don't use that end of my marker very much at all. But I just made an ombre style cake, pink, red to white, which is different than how I did the fringed one, but I decided it was okay. The white was a little bit too white, so I actually brought in my C0 gray marker and traced around that white just to give it a little bit of a shadow, and it really did make a difference. And then I colored in those decorative pieces on the bag with these same markers, and then I'm adding the same stardust, gel pen to the candles. And then I'm also going to use that marker to trace around the cute decorative, I'm going to call it scallops, on the gift bag. I'm going to die cut a little tag and a little bow and put those onto the gift bag. This heart I'm stamping is from the stamp set, and the dies are from the Fringe Frenzy die set. So I stuck those on, and I wanted to stamp another sentiment that will go on the frame that has the gift bag. So the side of the frame that has the gift bag will have this Just For You sentiment that I inked both with the velvet and the coral berry ink to give it an ombre look. Now when I was laying this out on my frame, I realized the cake was too tall, so I had to cut off the base, which was sad, and now I have this little blue extra piece hanging out at the bottom, which I will show you at the end of the video how I took care of that. But for now, I'm sticking on my fringed letters with some of that double stick tape and just giving them a little fluffing before I stick them down. And remember, this is sticking right to that window piece that comes with the frame. You want to go ahead and stick that down into the frame before you start adhering your pieces, because they are dimensional. Whether you stick them on flat or you pop them up, it's not going to be able to slide into this frame if you stick everything on first and then try to slide it in. So my cake's going on with some foam tape, and that is the first side of the frame. For the back side, peel off that protective layer on the front and the back, slide it in place, and then I'm going to add that Just For You sentiment and my gift bag. So for the gift bag, I brought in one of my extra pieces of fringe to be like the tissue paper in the bag, and just ruffled that up and crunched it down a little bit to give it some dimension. And then I am gluing down some of my red hot hearts on this side, and they look super cute. Then I'm going to just twist on the base of this frame, and then I can't leave it plain, so I brought in some white organza ribbon and I'm tying that around the base. When you tie it on like this, you can actually twist the ribbon around so that the bow is on either side. I guess you could tie two, so you'd have a bow no matter which way you were looking at it. But I just put one bow on mine. So once I have that how I like it, I'll go ahead and bring in some sharp scissors and trim off the ends. I'm bringing in a white gel pen to cover over that little piece of the cake stand that shows up. And once the gel pen is over that, you can't even tell that it used to be there. So while I had the white gel pen out, I decided to make some accent highlights on this cake, and that pretty much finishes up this project. I hope you've enjoyed the card with the something cute that could be a gift, and I will be back next week with more projects with the Fringe Frenzy kit. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love for you to subscribe, and if you leave a comment, you have a chance of winning the card from today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!